God told me you are my spouse. What next? Well, this is a conversation that is very common in the Christian circles. People have heard, people are hearing, people want to hear who their next spouse is going to be. But at times, because this is an issue of the heart, we handle it very wrongly and it leads us down the drain. We make very many mistakes, at times that can be changed and some that cannot be changed. Well, in today's video, I want to help you navigate how to deal with this whole issue. I promised us conversations. I just want us to get to know each other. I really need your engagement. That is why I'm going to use my very own experiences and stories to share a thing or two because I know that you are going to learn from my very experiences. I remember not so long ago, I made an upload. Uh, Sorry if you hear, cars passing by. We are right next to the road. So, anyways, I made an upload where I touched this issue and I posted it on my socials, and the feedback you guys have had experiences. Some people have had good, some people have been told that they are, some people want to hear good about who their next spouse is. And as someone who actually has a story in this line, I felt like, I had something to say. So I put up this upload, I get your response, and I promise to come back with a follow up video. I sit down to shoot this follow up video, and I don't have a plan. I don't know what to say to the camera. So, anyways, fast forward, I actually did not shoot. I did not say anything. I go in for Sunday service, and as I'm seated in for the sermon, something is shared in this line. My man of God just hints on this topic, and I'm like, that is it. That is the direction I need to take. So I said, I am going to use my very own story to help you learn how to navigate. You are going to learn from my mistakes, and you're also going to learn from how I combated the mistakes that I made. Well, we are at campus. One day, I actually remember that day. I even remember I was putting on this very nice gray jumpsuit. I'm praying. Peace pack. I'm on my knees, head down as I'm praying. Munai, I hear so and so is your husband. I'm like, yay. Anyways, before we even go any further, that person is not my husband. So I'm like, hey, this person is my husband. I'm like, okay, thank God. I have always been the kind of person that was marriage conscious, not because I was desperately looking for marriage, but I think it has a lot to do with my call. So my books were always about marriage. Everything about me was really about marriage. So I hear that this person is my husband. I'm like, oh, thank God I have had this. And these are the mistakes that I made when I had this from God. The very first mistake I made was I positioned myself in his life. Okay. I positioned myself in his life just to be visible, just to be visible. So I was just around, I was there, and I don't really want to go down into details, but this is something that, just makes you, maybe invest your emotions in a way that you shouldn't. And then I also began to pray and then maybe behave like a wife or do things that a wife could do. I didn't really go down to the nitty gritties, because Christian values have to be observed. But in my own secret place, even when I was praying, I'm praying for him like, oh, my husband, my husband. And then thirdly, which is similar to the first, I invested my emotions. Now, I did not have feedback from this person. They never asked me out. They never said anything to me about this particular area, but I invested my emotions because me, all I needed was the Lord told me so and so is my spouse, and I was moving on, whether I'm in it alone or oh, sweet spirit, how dumb was I? Now, as I share my mistakes, I do not want us to nullify the point that actually God talks. Yeah, God talks and God tells people who their spouses are. God is very dynamic. He works in different ways, and we cannot glue him to a box and say, no, now that it was wrong, the way Mrs. Nkatta did it, or a person's heart was broken, God can never speak to me that way. No, God actually can tell you who your spouse is. But because this is a matter of the heart. A lot of wisdom is required to protect you from making errors and to also prevent you from, wasting time. All right. So please do not use this video as a way of blocking your heart to never hear God about your marital destiny. No, no, no. But anyways, as we go on, we are going to learn more on how we can handle this whole issue. Now, as I am, in all of this madness and, a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of heartaches, I go down and say, but by the way, what am I doing? That is why it is very important to be of a teachable spirit, to be someone that is teachable. So after I had gone through a lot of heartaches and examined how the love of God actually works, I said, this is not it. It is not supposed to be hurtful. It's not supposed to be painful. By the way, people that are in abusive relationships, a guy slaps you and he tells you, I love you so much, it hurts. No, my dear, love does not hurt like that. Love is sweet, guys. Love is sweet. Yeah. So I'm like, no, but it should not feel like this. So now that is where I applied what my father taught in the sermon. He said, you have to be humble and maybe put benefit of doubt that maybe I might be wrong, I might be right. Because you know what? These are matters of the heart. Yeah, these are matters of the heart. At times you are lasting. You need to be very humble for you to actually put that distinction between what God is saying and what your flesh is actually saying. So my prayers started to look different. I started to tell God, you know what, God, I can be wrong. And if this is not it, help my heart let go. Because now I had invested myself so much, and it was, I had invested myself so much that it was getting to my mind. I needed a divine intervention at this point. My father said that when women are in love, you can't even advise them. I am that woman. But I was humble enough to tell God, you know what, God, I might be wrong. So please draw my eyes to where they should be. Help me shift my attention. And also because I had grown an unhealthy attachment and I realized that I wasn't doing it the right way. I started to, put boundaries with myself. Yes, boundaries with myself so that I do not end up, making very many errors. And the other thing that I did, I never went out and told the person. As simple as that. I am a traditional woman. I am a ladies' lady. I love to be pursued. And I just grew up knowing that we do not chase down men. I know some people who might want to say, oh, God told me you are a lady. And you're like, let me go and tell this guy. For me, God told me that is all that matters. No, keep your dignity. If God told you, he should also be able to tell the other person. So, I think to sum it all up when it comes to what I did right, that is what took me out. At the point when my husband came along, I was no longer glued to this notion of, God told me so and so is my husband. My heart had already gone through it all. I had examined my heart, talked to my heart to make sure that, I do not miss the will of God. So when my husband came along, my heart was open regardless of what I had experienced. Now, this leads me down to, that place where I individualize it. When it comes to my ladies, and you have heard that a person is your husband, please and please and please apply some of the things that I have told you, and also allow the Spirit to guide you on how best that you can handle this whole issue. You do not have to go out and tell the man that, God told me. And then when it comes to the gentleman, okay, for the ladies, I believe you will have to wait it out a lot. Wait it out a lot and allow God, do what he does. Let him guide you on how to approach the whole issue. And when it comes to the gentleman, firstly, you do not impose just because you had God. Chemistry is actually real. There needs a connection has to be built, even though you know that God told you so and so is your husband. You do not just go and tell them, God told me you're my husband. God told me you're my wife, deal with it. No, you do not dump it like that. Give the person also an opportunity to hear God. What you say is not command, it is not true. They should not be obliged to respond to you immediately. So, gentlemen, do not impose just because you had God, okay? Yeah, allow her to also feel. Now, in the comments, you can kindly engage and let me know how you are dealing with this whole issue. I know there is a lot we could share in this line, and let us keep the conversation flowing in the comments section. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, this is the perfect time for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have a lot in store for you. And now this is the point where I head out, but please remember to share this video with all your friends that need it. I love you. God bless you. See you in my next video.